What's up, everybody? Welcome to the finals of a store championship that I had the pleasure of judging, as well as doing this post-event commentary. We've got Doflamingo versus Zoro. Now, you might be wondering, yeah, this video is moving a little fast. That's because this match went to time. That means this is an absolute slog of a match here. A lot of board control going on. Maybe not as much life totals here, as both these decks can go wide pretty quickly now. Zoro tends to go wide a little bit faster now than Doflamingo, just because Doflamingo's lost Jinbei, but Doflamingo did take the play here. If we do see a Teach on the next turn, this could get pretty scary for Zoro. Teach just being like one of the best cards in Dofi's deck. Hands down, I believe. If Dofi sees Teach, they can really steamroll. And this is why Dofi's made it to the finals at this point. Both players have been through 4 rounds. They're both 4-0 at this point. Last 2 players standing, and Zoro putting up a lot of good results, and Dofi surprisingly putting up a lot of really good results here as well. And we do a blind flip, get a Teach into play here off of a 7k Dofi swing, which is pretty solid. And we're going to see an activation of Shut Up and Come With Me from Zoro. Look at the top 5, try to grab an animal, something cool, maybe the chopper. We do find a chopper here. Probably one of the best targets you could get with Zoro off of that event. And I think that 7k is just going to hit life here, going to take that one and go back to Zoro's turn here. Now that Dofi's seen the Teach, this game is going to get pretty interesting. Dofi, still a powerhouse in this meta, even after they lost Jinbei, which was arguably one of the strongest cards in the deck. But I think Martial D Teach is also up there alongside Law. Trafalgar Law also being incredibly good, especially in this matchup, especially against Zoro. A lot of small bodies that just want to ping for damage, and if you put them back in their hand, a little unfortunate. We're going to see a Tony Chopper activation, putting a Tony Chopper into play. Likely going to be doing his best Jinbei impression here. Yep, going to be putting another animal into play off of the other Tony Chopper that was brought into play. And Doflamingo is just going to take that 6k hit, and we're going to see what else he decides to do here. 3 more Dawn. We're going to play out a Tony Chopper blocker, and look at that on good old what, this is turn 2 for Zoro. He's got a full board, 5 characters on board, and Doflamingo's only got 1. Did lose the Teach, but potentially found another one here. Whole lot of cards in Doflamingo's hand. I saw quite a few Boa blockers, a few Sengoku searchers, as well as a Trafalgar Law. Trafalgar Law notably going to be pretty good for those Sengoku's, going to be able to bounce some of Zoro's stuff and then put searchers back in hand. Just keep looping the searching, trying to find as much gas as they can. Saw a few bounce events there, a few Josus going to the bottom. Going to pick up at 2k here, and we're going to see what Doflamingo does here. Going to just search again, just going to go triple Sengoku. Look at the top 5. Going to find another Teach and Teach exactly what they wanted to see this specific turn. Again, Teach is the absolute powerhouse of this deck. Most certainly the best card in the deck. A lot of people wanted this card to be banned. I know that this was kind of top on the list, but I know there was a lot of suspicion that Bandai would not be banning a new card from a new starter deck. But we're gonna see Teach activation, put a card on top. It's gonna be the Trafalgar Law. Trafalgar Law is gonna start doing the sing and dance of the Sengokus, and we're gonna see a 7k swing into Tony Chopper, blocking the with Trafalgar Law bouncing the blocker here. And we're gonna have to see some cards coming out of hand here, because I do not think the Zoro wants to let that Chopper go, especially without a replacement in hand. We're gonna give him 3k counter and 1 and single cards there. Unfortunately, no 2k in hand to make up for the card difference. So going back to Zoro's turn here. Good old Law's Dofi's board isn't too scary, but maybe there might be some pressure to try to take that Law out here, because if the Doflamingo player potentially sees another one, could just keep doing some bouncing shenanigans. But ultimately, Zoro does just want to kind of stave and go for life here. A whole lot of 2Ks in Dofi's hand. I see at least 4 2Ks, 3 Crocodiles, and 1 Buggy here. So Zoro, if he starts swinging 6Ks in, likely none of them are going to connect. Just so much card advantage right now, and is just another Sengoku potentially coming down next turn means maybe another 2k or another hit off the top, and then whatever he grabs can just be put right on top with yeah. So we're gonna see a blow up of Teach using Gum Gum Mulgun. Unfortunately, I have to give the minus 5k to Teach. Gum Gum Mulgun only blows up a 2k or less, and Teach is a 3k, which is kind of annoying. If Teach was a 2k, this would have been a pretty solid play. Could have made the Law 0 and popped the Teach, but unfortunately, it's just not how the card works. We're going to do a little adjustment of the camera here. I think it got slapped earlier in the video. So, yeah. We're going to see this. We're going to attack with Chopper. We're going to look top 5. Going to grab a Robson. Other than blocker Chopper, Robson is one of the better plays that you can grab off the top with Chopper. This is gonna be just a 6K here, and again, 6Ks for days, not too great for someone who has a whole lot of 2Ks in hand here. I don't know where that 6K is going, but likely we're going to see a 2K counter out. But this Dofi's thinking honestly pretty hard about that. Decides to just let the Trafalgar Law go, and we're going to see a 5K. Just going to take that one down to 3. We're going to see another 5K. Going to get our first 2K out of hand. A 6K here, we're just going to get another 2K. And then a pass back to Doflamingo. I'm very surprised Doflamingo decided to not fight over the Trafalgar Law, though they did just find a second one off the top of their deck there. So I guess it honestly didn't matter at that point. So luckily the first law gone means the second law can't come in and do some law on law bouncing shenanigans, which would basically make one of those laws always be in hand to bounce something on the next turn, which is something this deck is pretty known for. But we're gonna see a Boa come out instead. Boa's gonna look top 3, try to find an applicable target. Hey, look, another teach in here. Potentially wants to put the, I guess it looks like the teach is going on top. Actually thinking about reordering that here. Thinking pretty hard. I think the teach, potentially you should put that Gecko on top and maybe draw into the teach on the next turn. Gecko at least puts a body on board. If you put a teach on board, it's just gonna get swung into likely. But you could get the activation of the teach anyways, but we're going to see what we ended up putting on top. We're going to attach 1 to Sengoku. We're going to swing 3K into 3K here. Just kind of 1K check the Zoro here. We're going to get a 1K out of hand, and then now we're going to see a 2 attach to lead, as well as a activation here off of Doflamingo. We're going to reveal a teach. So teach is coming into play here. Teach could potentially attach to Dondo Sengoku to be able to swing into another character on board, which is exactly what we're looking to do here. Maybe 1K check something again. We're gonna see 4 going to 4 here, or actually, yeah, okay, yeah, 4 going to 3, and we're gonna clean that up there. No 2K from Zoro. Zoro's pretty well telegraphed to the Dofi player that there are no 2Ks in hand at this point, based on the way that he's been countering out of things. Once your opponent throws 3 1Ks at a 7K attack, you have a good idea as to what's going on in their hand here. And Tony Dropper's gone. It's back in hand, and we're gonna think here could play it out again, right? It just kind of sucks. It's fine to play it out again because it doesn't have it on play, right? But you just want to keep pushing that damage. So we're gonna see potentially a 6K going at lead here. You definitely want to clean up the teach as much as possible here. We're going to see another Gum Gum Mogun. Gum Gum Mogun just going to clean up the blocker Boa. So that means no choppers coming down this turn. And likely going to use one of the small bodies to clean up the teach, but instead going to use a 6K, really putting a lot of pressure on the teach. Could have actually potentially just sent like a 5K into the teach, right? That would still required a 2K, 1K to get out of, but we're going to just do a full clean board and then swing 6K at lead. I probably would have liked a smaller attack into teach to maybe just try to bait some cards out of Dofi's hands. Dofi's hand is getting a little smaller now. I think 5 or 6 cards in hand now. All the 2Ks that he had before are not nearly there at this point. So I think Zoro's maybe playing a little too safe right now. Could definitely be putting more aggression towards life at this point, but does want to clean up the board. And a 6K swing into a 3K is probably the best way to clean up a character like that. But I definitely would have tried to bait Doflamingo to give me a few more cards. But we'll see what ends up happening here. On Doflamingo's turn, he's at 9 Dawn. No Gravity Blades in sight. Gravity Blade would have been pretty cool a few turns ago when he had some very juicy targets. Now, these little 4K bodies, not too juicy, as they don't really have abilities innately themselves. But now we're going to see an 8K. I wonder if that goes, it's going to just go into Robson. It's going to reveal a Gecko Moria. And then we're going to another Zengoku coming down. Zengoku, we're going to look at the top 5 cards here. And going to grab a 2K Buggy, so another 2K to hand to try to replenish some of those resources that he used over the last few turns. At least 2 2Ks in hand. We're going to see a Law come down. Law going to likely pick up the Sengoku and bounce a target here. Going to put that 4K back into hand. And we're going to go back to Zoro's turn, and it's a lot of back and forth here as we're seeing the boards just kind of be cleaned up. Not too much attention on face here, but Dofi's definitely has a bit of an advantage, card advantage right now, especially with the Law bouncing the Sengoku back to hand again. Means the Sengoku is going to be able to search another time to try to find something else when you really need to get a chopper on the field and stick it. But with the threat of potentially another Law bouncing a Law to put the chopper away, really unfortunate. and really stunting a little bit of Zoro's aggression. Zoro had a really good early game, but now that we're kind of towards the middle to late game, Zoro not as much stuff on board to be working with here. Would really love to see like a big drop. I think this Zoro deck does run like one copy of Dragon. A Dragon right now would be pretty cool. Just because you gotta have to force Doflamingo to have like a red rock or commit significant resources to try to take it out. But we'll see what Zoro decides to do here for Dawn potentially, and we're just gonna see a big old 9k swing into Moria here again, playing incredibly controlling. When maybe he could have sent that 9k at life, just because he still is at 4 life. He's still feeling relatively safe right now with 3 cards in hand. Just gonna double chopper to try to rebuild the board here. Look at the top 5. I see at least two of those sleeping Luffys, 2 of those 5-drop Luffys, and a whiff off of the chopper there. Would have loved to see another body in play, but you just bottom decked a whole lot of good cards. Those 5-drop Luffys, exactly what you want to see right now. It's something that can't be contested by law, and so we're gonna see a 5k into a 4k swing here. Likely gonna let that go because again we haven't seen many 2ks this entire game, and we're gonna see a Boa come down. Boa's gonna look at the top 3. Boa finds a Teach and another Law, so the Law shenanigans are starting to come here, and there's gonna be a whole lot of bouncing little animals back to hand, and we're gonna see potentially an activation of leader here. Could see another thing come down. We do have a Gecko Moria in hand that can fetch up likely a 2k out of the yard. We're gonna see a 7k go at lead here. Gonna grab the Law, gonna bounce a chopper back to hand and pick himself up, which means we got a Law for next turn. Or we're gonna see the Law come down again. Law's gonna come down again, bounce the other Law, and yeah, pick up the tapped Law there, and bounce that other chopper. So both 3-cost choppers back in hand yet again, and Zoro is back to where he was the turn before. Not a whole lot of cards on board. We're gonna see a Nami come down, look top 5. You want to find something pretty cool, but I think he found the 2k Sanji, and another slap at the camera there. I think there's a big conglomeration of people watching this table because this is the finals, last round of the night. So a lot of foot traffic. We're gonna see a 5k go lead. Just gonna get an easy block out of that, and likely gonna send maybe a 6k. Looks like he's left up. Looks like 6 Dawn here to potentially play out those 2 choppers again. That's likely what we're gonna do here. But that other Law in hand means those choppers are gonna be going back to the deck here, especially if they whiff. You do not want to see a chopper whiff right now. You want chopper to put something into play, or else it's just gonna go back to your hand with no results. Look at the top 5. Does find a Robson this time. Robson's gonna come out, but so many good cards keep going to the bottom. The unfortunate part about playing chopper is so many. You're gonna see so many very playable cards constantly going to the bottom here, constantly filtering back to the bottom. Cards you're likely not going to be drawing on these next few turns that you would love to draw. And we've got a bit of a board again, but we're gonna see some shenanigans from Law here. Law's just likely gonna attack into whatever is tapped here. We're gonna use the 2k Sanji that we got out of hand. We're gonna see a 6k into a 4k now. And again, this whole game has just been control the board. We've seen barely any swings towards life. The only time a big swing has come towards life because either player had nothing really to do, right, or didn't have anything to attack. Right? There wasn't anything tapped. So we're gonna see a Gecko Moria come down. Gecko Moria likely just gonna grab a 2k. Instead, it's gonna grab a Boa, which is also a very good play here, allowing you to immediately attach and look up the top 3. We're going to look at the top 3. Put the Doflamingo, that's the Dracula Mihawk on top, and swing 7k. The 7k is going at lead, I believe. And Zoro just gave up a 2k, so likely gonna be taking this one here. Yep. Potential trigger. Thinking about it. This is a very. So this was a situation when a judge call was announced. He revealed the card, but he didn't say anything, and I was called over to, they explained the situation to me as, he revealed the card, he didn't say anything, he didn't even say trigger, he just revealed the card. And so based on that knowledge, I just came over and said, okay, you revealed, secretive information because you didn't say trigger, because you didn't, resolve the effect of the card, you didn't say anything, point to anything. We're gonna give you a warning and we're gonna move on. Is how I ruled out there. So Gum Gum Well Gun in hand. maybe a little bit too excitement out of Zoro here, and we're gonna see a Gum Gum Gun come down and just pop the blocker here. But again, if he doesn't start going at face here, we're gonna potentially get to the situation where we kind of hit time, which is climbing up on us pretty soon, as both these players have just been swinging back and forth to each other's characters, which is completely understandable. This is how you deal with this kind of matchup, right? Doflamingo, if you don't deal with his bodies, those bodies are likely just going to be going face. But someone's eventually just gotta, you know, step on the gas and start swinging the face here, because otherwise, you know, this is going to be a very strange turn. We're going to see a 7K go into the wall here, and could potentially see 2 more 7Ks. This 7K is just going to go at the Mihawk. If these 7Ks were going at life, these would connect likely here, or either that or drop Doflamingo out of cards in hand here. I really think there should be a pivot at some point. Now, this pivot probably should have happened at least 2 or 3 turns ago when Zoro was still at 4 life, but now that you're at 2 life, you really do have to start swinging towards the board here. But I really would have liked seeing Zoro at least start going for life, maybe a few turns ago. If he had gone for life a little earlier, we would have seen Doflamingo's hand size maybe drop drastically, or even him be at lower life here, which is better for the late game as Zoro floods the board, because it puts more pressure on Doflamingo to try to handle your board, because they're getting so low on life. But now we're kind of at this position where Doflamingo is getting to the point where he doesn't really have to go for your board anymore, right? He could still play lulls down, do a little bit of bouncing. I think he has one in hand. Likely he should have cycled it back and forth, but we're gonna get to this point where we might just start sending these at lead with only 3 cards in hand, and not showing you know, the opponent any 2Ks here. We get 3 1Ks. I think those were either going at lead or chopper here, and we're gonna get another potential 7K here. So again, just a little bit of fear, and this fear from Doflamingo's side of constantly, you know, trading back and forth maybe should have been an indicator for Zoro to start going at face here. Especially Doflamingo should kind of have green lights right now with only 1 card in hand. You can start pushing some damage here. We could set Zoro down to 0 potentially on this turn, especially with this Teach coming down. You know. And I think there was another potential bow blocker in hand. I'm not sure. We're going to see a 6K here. I think the 6K is just going to clean up a chopper potentially. No, it's just going to go for the free swing into the 4K, because you know your opponent can't block out of that. But with another blocker in hand, or a lull just to do some bouncing shenanigans, you know, you're in a pretty good spot here. Those choppers don't have counter, so you know your opponent doesn't have has like at least 2K in hand or less. We're gonna see a 7K go in. We're gonna grab another lull, which you just put on top, and we're gonna bounce something else as well, and just keep bouncing specific targets. And like this specific turn, especially with the double lull play, I definitely would have liked to see a little more attacks go into life potentially here. But either way, we're getting towards the end of the game here. It's a constant battle of resources. It's a constant battle of chicken, I'd say. Neither opponent fully committing to the other opponent's life total. But we're going to see that happen here soon, especially if someone just starts to not build up a board. We're going to see it very clearly here. And we're going to see 6K. And I think we're also in time at this point. So these are some overround turns. We're going to see a 6K. This is going at life here. You can see start to see the pivot towards going at life, because time is of the essence. You're going to take that one here. Looking to stick at least 3 down on the Nami potentially. Going to play out this rush Zoro. We're going to swing a 7K at life here. And we're going to 2K, 1K out of that. And just going to pass back. Potentially gonna pass back to Doflamingo's turn here. We are on time, so I think that Doflamingo had the first turn, Zoro had the second turn, Doflamingo has another turn here, potentially Zoro has another turn as well, as long as the players play fast. But not sure how fast the Doflamingo is going to be playing here, as I think we're going to go to time in between one of these swings here. And gonna look at the top 5, gonna look for a chopper, gonna put that into play. Now it does enter untapped, so it is a potential blocker here, but this is a 7K going to lead here, and Zoro elects to take it, which means if the time is called now, which it was, Zoro loses the game. So unfortunately, really long game of battle of controlling the board here, but Doflamingo just able to inch it out with his nonsense. Anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.